Respect is not lost in a single moment, it dies slowly, piece by piece. The cruel truth. By the time you notice, it's already gone. Today, I will show you why she stops respecting you. Not in the sweet lies you are used to hearing, but in the cold reality Machiavelli himself would have given his prince. If you wish to keep her loyalty, you must first understand why it disappears. In the courts of Florence, I saw men rise to greatness, adored by their wives and mistresses, only to be discarded like worn-out parchment. Power, my friend, is not only in war and politics, it lives also in love. A man who fails to command respect in his private life will fail in every other sphere. This is not about cruelty nor about charm. It is about strategy. If you wish her to stand by you, not just in love but in loyalty, you must know the silent sins that make her see you as ordinary. Here are 11 reasons why she stops respecting you, and how to remove them before it's too late. In the grand halls of Florence, I once watched a prince lose his entire court's loyalty without a single rebellion, without a single sword drawn. It happened slowly, invisibly, as if a candle's flame were fading in a still room. His enemies did not have to attack him, they simply learned every move he would make before he made it. He became predictable. The same slow death occurs in your relationships. At first, she is drawn to you because you are unknown. Your words are not all given away, your thoughts are layered, your actions carry the thrill of uncertainty. She feels the pull of mystery, the quiet tension of wanting to know more about you, yet never fully possessing you. But then, you begin to settle into routine. You say the same things, at the same times, in the same tone. You react to her moods exactly as she expects, comforting her when she soaks, laughing at the same jokes, complimenting her in the same tired patterns. Do you understand what this does? You turn yourself from a storm she watches into a clear, cloudless sky she can ignore. Human nature, as I have written before, is greedy for novelty but blind to what it already holds. The moment she can predict your next sentence before you speak it, she no longer listens. The moment she can guess your reaction before she acts, you no longer matter in the scene. A wise man knows that predictability is the enemy of influence. In politics, it allows rivals to anticipate your every maneuver. In love, it makes her believe she knows the very boundaries of your soul. And when a woman believes she has seen the end of you, the last page of your book, she will stop reading. Consider how the fox survives the hunt. It never runs in the same direction twice. It never approaches the same path in daylight and darkness. It changes the rhythm of its steps, sometimes rushing, sometimes pausing, sometimes retreating when it should advance. This confuses the hunter. You must confuse her in the same way, not with lies, but with an ever-shifting nature. The predictable man thinks being consistent means being dependable in every word and gesture. He believes that by showing the same face every day, he will inspire trust. He does not realize that trust without tension becomes boredom, and boredom is the death of respect. When she wakes and knows exactly how you will greet her, when she faces a conflict and already knows the speech you will deliver, when she sees the pattern in your behavior like the ticking of a clock, you have lost the ability to surprise her. And when there is no surprise, there is no need for her to pay close attention to you anymore. Even in the smallest matters, variation keeps the air alive. Change the pace of your responses. Alter your tone in unexpected moments. Sometimes hold silence where she expects comfort. Other times, speak boldly where she expects passivity. This does not mean chaos, it means rhythm with unpredictable beats. The greatest rulers and lovers alike knew this. A predictable man invites complacency. An unpredictable man demands curiosity. She must never be certain she has reached the depth of you. She must always suspect that there are parts of you still unseen, parts that could rise to the surface at any moment. These hidden chambers of your personality are like locked doors in a palace. She may live there for years, but if she has not opened them all, she will still wander the halls in search of them. Once you strip yourself of mystery, you hand her the map to your entire kingdom, and the tour is over. You think this makes her feel secure, but security without intrigue becomes suffocating. She will begin to look outward, not always for another man, but for another feeling. The feeling of discovery. You may believe this does not apply to you because you are loyal, because you give her everything. But loyalty without layers is like a feast of bread without spice. It feeds, but it does not excite. She may appreciate it, but she will not crave it. And when craving dies, respect soon follows. In the courts I observed, the most respected men were not always the most handsome, nor the richest, nor even the most charming. They were the men whose next move could never be guessed. You could dine with them 100 times and still leave wondering what they truly thought of you. You could speak to them daily and still feel you had only seen one mask among many. And yet, their unpredictability was not recklessness. It was calculated, like a game of chess where every piece is moved with intention, but not in a pattern the opponent can memorize. This is the art you must learn if you wish her to keep her eyes fixed upon you, if you wish her to wonder what you will do next, if you wish her to respect you as a man whose depths cannot be plundered in a single lifetime. In the courts of power, I learned that words are currency, and some words are worth more than gold. Among these, the apology is the rarest coin. When a ruler uses it sparingly, it buys peace, trust, and even forgiveness. But when it is spent too freely, it becomes worthless. A prince who bows too often to his subjects invites rebellion. A man who bows too often to a woman invites contempt. At first, you believe that apologizing for every small offense makes you noble, considerate, and safe from her displeasure. You think that by lowering your head, you are showing humility, that she will see your kindness and cherish you more for it. But human nature is not moved by endless submission. Instead of gratitude, repeated apologies breed expectation. Soon, she will not see your apology as a sign of your strength. She will see it as proof that you are willing to accept fault, even when you have done nothing wrong. This is where the danger lies. Each time you apologize without necessity, you chip away at your own authority. You become the man who takes blame as a habit, who treats himself as guilty before the trial has even begun. You send her a message, "I am beneath you. I am here to win your approval, not to stand beside you as an equal." I have seen this weakness destroy not only marriages but kingdoms. In Florence, there was a nobleman whose court adored him for his charm and generosity. Yet in private, with his wife, he apologized for every disagreement, every delayed dinner, every imagined offense. Over time, she no longer came to him for reassurance. She came to him for confession, expecting him to accept blame for her own mistakes. His willingness to always be the one at fault made her see him as soft, unguarded, and easy to control. And once a woman feels she can control you completely, she loses the instinct to admire you. An apology should be a deliberate act, not a reflex. It should be reserved for moments when your actions truly demand it, when the offense is clear, undeniable, and significant. This is when your words carry weight, when she knows you are not a man to bend without cause. A rare apology is a sign of strength. A constant one is a sign of weakness. When you say, "I'm sorry," for things beyond your control, for feelings she chooses to have, or for situations that are trivial, you lower the value of the apology itself. Imagine a treasury where gold coins are replaced daily by copper. The people will no longer respect the currency. Your apologies become copper. She will still hear them, but they will buy nothing. Worse still, constant apologizing shifts the balance of power in subtle ways. The one who always seeks forgiveness is no longer the one in command. You make yourself the supplicant, the one who needs her approval to stand tall again. Even if she does not consciously abuse this, she will feel the shift. And the respect she once gave you freely will begin to erode. There is also another danger, one most men never see. Over-apologizing plants seeds of doubt. Each unnecessary "I'm sorry" tells her that you believe you have done something wrong, even if she hadn't noticed anything. It makes her question your competence, your confidence, and your stability. She begins to wonder if he apologizes this much, Perhaps he truly is at fault more often than I thought. This does not mean you must become stubborn, refusing to acknowledge real mistakes. A man who never admits wrong becomes arrogant and brittle, and arrogance is as dangerous as weakness. The balance is in discipline, knowing when to hold your ground and when to bow your head. Your apology must feel like an event, not background noise. It must feel deliberate, not desperate. When a prince addresses his people, he chooses his words with care. When you address her after a conflict, you must do the same. Let your apology be precise, unhurried, and rare. Let it come from a position of authority, not submission. She must feel that your apology is not given because you fear losing her, but because your honor demands that you speak it. That is when it will have the power to restore, rather than weaken, her respect. In every realm, whether it be a kingdom of marble and stone or the quiet kingdom of a man's private life, there must be borders. Without them, order dissolves. A wise ruler does not allow his subjects to wander freely into the treasury, to rearrange the laws at their whim, or to speak without consequence. He may be loved, he may be generous, but his generosity exists inside the walls he has built. The same principle governs respect between a man and a woman. If you fail to set boundaries, you cease to be her equal, and you become her servant. At the beginning, when affection is fresh and the air between you is charged, you may believe that boundaries are unnecessary. You are eager to please, eager to show her that her happiness is your first concern. You answer every call, even at the cost of your own work. You tolerate sharp words because you want to avoid conflict. You allow her to cancel your plans without protest because you think it proves you are understanding. But every time you choose silence over firmness, every time you bend instead of standing straight, you teach her a lesson. That your limits can be crossed without consequence. The danger of this is not immediate. At first, she may even find it comforting, thinking you are simply easygoing. But human nature does not value what can be taken without effort. Soon, what she once saw as kindness becomes weakness. And weakness is not respected, no matter how much she might still care for you in other ways. Boundaries are not about dominance. They are not about building a wall so high that she cannot reach you. They are about creating the structure in which love and respect can survive. A woman who cannot see the edges of your authority will eventually push until she finds them. If you have none, she will push until you are no longer standing. I have seen this in the courts of Florence. Not in marriages, but in alliances. One nobleman, seeking favor with a powerful family, agreed to every demand they made. First, they asked for land, he gave it. Then for coin, he gave that as well. Then they requested control over part of his army, and again he agreed. He thought each concession brought him closer to their loyalty. In truth, it brought him closer to his ruin. They respected him less with each gift, for they saw he had no line that could not be crossed. Eventually, they discarded him entirely, for a man without boundaries is of no strategic value. The same truth applies here. If you allow her to insult you without response, you teach her that your dignity is negotiable. If you allow her to dictate every term of your time, you teach her that her priorities are above your own. If you allow her to question your decisions endlessly, you teach her that you doubt yourself, and once she learns these lessons, they are not easily unlearned. Setting boundaries is not about anger. It is about certainty. When she crosses a line, you address it without hesitation, without raising your voice, but with the weight of finality. When you have plans, you do not break them unless the reason is worthy. When you speak, you do not allow your words to be drowned in interruptions. You show, by your actions, that you govern your life, and she is welcome in it only if she respects its laws. There is a subtle but powerful effect when a woman knows a man has boundaries. She feels the strength of his spine without him having to prove it with force. She understands that while he may give, he will never give all. She knows that she cannot own him completely, and that knowledge keeps her respect alive. For respect thrives not in possession, but in the awareness that there are parts of you she must always work to keep. In my time, I observed a simple truth. The man who no longer seeks to rise is already falling. Whether in the palace halls or in the quiet streets, ambition is the fire that keeps others drawn to you. It is not only about wealth or titles, it is the energy, the movement, the restless pursuit of something greater than yourself. When that fire dies, you become still, and still things are forgotten. At the start of a relationship, your ambition is one of the forces that drew her in. She saw a man who was moving forward, who had visions beyond the present moment. She could feel that you were chasing something, a dream, a mission, a goal that gave your days purpose. This made her see you not just as a man, but as a force. A man with ambition carries an invisible crown. Others can sense that he belongs to a higher path. But then, slowly, perhaps without even noticing, you begin to settle. You decide that your current life is enough. You stop learning new skills, stop striving for better opportunities, stop building and expanding. You live on what you have already earned instead of seeking to earn more. Not only in coin, but in experience and mastery. The man who once spoke of the future with fire in his eyes now speaks only of comfort, of routine, of keeping things the same. This shift is subtle but deadly. Human nature, especially in the heart of a woman, does not admire the man who stands still. She may appreciate your stability, but she will not respect the man who seems to have no battles left to fight. The energy that once made her look at you with admiration turns into familiarity, and familiarity turns into complacency. In Florence, I saw this happen to merchants who had once been the envy of their peers. They built their fortunes through daring ventures, traveling to distant lands, investing in risky trades, negotiating with princes. Their wives looked at them as men of vision and courage. But once they had enough gold, they ceased their daring. They lived on their past achievements, telling stories of former glories instead of creating new ones. Over time, the spark faded from their homes. Their wives no longer looked at them as the men they married, but as comfortable shadows of those men. A man without ambition is like a river that stops flowing. It may still hold water, but it becomes stagnant, and stagnant waters breed disease. In this case, the slow sickness of lost respect. She does not need you to conquer the world, but she must see that you still have the will to climb. She must feel that you are a man who wakes with purpose, not just obligation. Ambition does not mean neglecting her or your relationship. It means showing her that you belong to something larger than both of you. That your life is a story still being written, and she is walking beside a man who is going somewhere. It could be the pursuit of mastery in your craft, the building of a business, the creation of art, the relentless improvement of your body and mind. Whatever form it takes, it must be visible in your actions, not just your words. The danger of losing ambition is that it tells her, without you saying it, that you have no higher standard for yourself anymore. And if you have no standard for yourself, how can she trust that you will hold a standard for her? Respect is given to those who are seen as leaders, and leadership cannot exist without movement. A man who stands still cannot lead, and a man who cannot lead cannot command respect. In the councils of princes, I have seen men lose everything not because their armies were weak, nor because their enemies were stronger, but because they could not master themselves. One outburst of rage in the wrong chamber, one tremble of fear in the wrong moment, and the perception of strength was shattered. In matters of power, perception is as vital as reality. And in matters of respect between a man and a woman, the same law applies. Once you lose control of your emotions, you lose the image of strength she once admired. At first, when you meet her, your composure is one of your silent weapons. You are calm, deliberate, and steady. Your laughter feels genuine because it is not forced. Your silences feel purposeful because you are not afraid of them. Even when provoked, you hold your ground with a measured tone. This steadiness draws her in because it tells her something very important: that you are a man who governs himself, and therefore can govern any situation. But over time, many men grow careless. Perhaps you think her affection is secure, that she has already seen the best of you and will forgive your lesser moments. So you allow frustration to spill out when she disagrees with you. You allow jealousy to cloud your words when she speaks to someone else. You show despair too quickly when life becomes difficult. You speak in anger when patience would have served you better. And slowly, without you realizing it, you erode the very image that made her trust your strength. A man who is ruled by his emotions becomes, in her eyes, like a ship with no captain, at the mercy of the waves. She cannot look to you for guidance if you are as lost in the storm as she is. She cannot feel secure beside you if she sees that you cannot secure yourself. And even if she still loves you, she will begin to respect you less, because respect is born from stability. Do not mistake this for coldness. To feel is not a weakness, but to be mastered by those feelings is. A prince may grieve, but he grieves behind closed doors, returning to his court with composure. A general may feel fear, but he moves his army as though he feels none. The man who can feel without losing control inspires trust. The man who explodes, collapses, or panics without measure inspires only doubt. There is another subtle danger here. When you reveal too much of your emotional turmoil, you burden her with the weight of leading you through it. This may feel intimate in the moment, as though you are sharing your deepest self, but over time it changes the balance between you. She becomes the steady one, and you the one who needs steadying. And once that shift occurs, it is difficult to reverse. In the courts I observed, the most respected men did not speak every feeling aloud. They chose their moments. Their anger was not a daily occurrence but a rare storm that made others take notice. Their sadness did not appear as constant sighs but as a single, deliberate admission when the time was right. This scarcity made their emotions more powerful, because when they finally revealed them, people knew they were real and not born from passing moods. Control of your emotions does not mean suppression. It means channeling them into strength. Anger can become a weapon when sharpened into decisive action. Fear can become preparation when turned into strategy. Sadness can become connection when expressed with dignity. But if your emotions pour out uncontrolled, they do not serve you. They serve to dismantle the respect you once commanded. In every moment of conflict or challenge, she is watching how you respond. Not just to see if you care, but to see if you can carry both yourself and her through the storm without losing your grip on the wheel. And if she sees you lose that grip too often, she will no longer look to you as the man who can guide her anywhere. Respect is not a gift that is granted once and kept forever. It is a living thing, fed daily by your actions, your boundaries, your ambitions, your mystery, and your control over yourself. The moment you grow careless, the moment you allow predictability to replace intrigue, apology to replace authority, weakness to replace boundaries, stagnation to replace ambition, or emotion to replace composure, you begin to lose it. She may not say it aloud. She may not even realize it at first. But day by day, the image of you in her mind changes. Where she once saw a man she could follow, she now sees a man she can direct. Where she once felt admiration, she now feels certainty, and certainty without challenge becomes boredom. Machiavelli taught that in politics, power must be guarded with vigilance, for the smallest cracks in the wall invite the greatest betrayals. In love, respect is your fortress. Without it, affection becomes fragile, and loyalty becomes conditional. You cannot demand it, you cannot beg for it. You can only earn it, and keep earning it, by living as a man who governs himself before he governs anything else. In every glance, every word, every action, you are teaching her how to see you. Teach her that you are a man whose depths cannot be measured, whose fire cannot be extinguished, and whose crown cannot be taken. Because it was never given by her in the first place.